What's up, everyone? We're here with another video. We got Breyanna here, who's going to help us talking about what it's like to be a real estate agent and an investor at the same time. Breyanna, introduce yourself a bit to everyone.
Hi, I'm Breyanna. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate agent. I own a vending machine business, and I'm 21. That's me.
You're the jack of all trades. You do a lot. At a young age, she does a
I'm a
lot.
pilot.
Way more.
I'm a pilot right now.
This is just side hustles, you know. Cool. So, Breyanna, what made you become a real estate agent to begin with?
Yeah. So what happened was that I was just looking for side hustles. I didn't know what I wanted. I just wanted to make more money, but I didn't know how to go about it.
What
And
age was
so
this? What age was this?
this was when I was 18.
Okay.
I remember I was like donating plasma. I was a waitress. I was doing DoorDash. I was doing whatever I could to make extra money. And I saw this side gig that was like to go take signs to properties and deliver them for an agent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I signed up for that. I had an interview with him and I did that for about 8 months where I got paid per sign.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually he told me like, hey, like, I don't know why you're just delivering signs. Like, you're such a people person. Like, why don't you become an agent? I was like, well, I don't know. How do I do that? He's like, you just go take the test and get the license. And he's like, if you get your license, I'll put you on my real estate team and I'll teach you everything I know. And I said, okay. Like I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer. And I was like, you know what? I looked it up. It was $300. I was like, why the heck not? I paid $300, got the license, and I've been on that real estate team ever since.
Well, hold on. You need to slow down because I have been studying for my tests since February of last year, on and off. Okay, with some large breaks in between. And I feel like I know nothing. And I had years of experience as an investor. How the hell did you study for this test? And like, how long did it take you? You know, break down that entire process because I'm just shocked that you're just like, yeah, I just paid $300 and I got it done.
Yeah, it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to actually I failed the test like 4 times. And
Okay.
then so it wasn't easy at all. It mainly took me a while. It took me a couple months. And some people that I knew got it done in like 3 or 4 weeks, which maybe that's above average fast, but I took above average long because I was doing this while I was also going to school full time. I was still working at Steak and Shake and Walmart. I was trying to do other side hustles. Like I had so much going on that it took me extra long. But I watched like this YouTuber prep agent and I binge watch videos on prep agent, and that's the only way I pass.
I paid for prep agent actually. And I started doing it every morning, like taking notes on each one. But like, I don't know. I'm just actually lost as to like what I need to actually do. I feel like this should be better documented and like easier to follow, but I feel like it's
Yeah,
not.
it's difficult. And also the thing is too with the test, you don't really learn what you actually do as a real estate agent. You just
Mhm.
learn like how to not get sued, basically.
Okay.
So I don't use any of that stuff in real life. Like I just needed the license.
Oh, okay. So, you became an agent then without any intentions of becoming an investor. So, at what point did you like realize you wanted to be an investor too?
Well, I always kind of wanted to be an investor. It was just that I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know I thought in my head it made logical sense that okay, well if I'm a real estate agent, then I will be in real estate one way or another. So that seems only logical to be around other investors, to meet other investors, to meet other people who are in real estate. So I figured that if I was like a lawyer, then I wouldn't be in the real estate world. Like I could still invest in real estate, but it'd be different because I'm not immersed in it.
You could be in real estate law. That's
Yeah, I could be in
like
real estate law.
landlord and tenant contracts and stuff like that. That'd be a good place to be. I could use people like that.
I
And
considered it.
if you want to do another side hustle and
I
go to law
consider it.
school.
Well, I was
Um,
going to go. I just decided this past semester to stop school because it just didn't make sense anymore. Because I was thinking, well, okay, look, I get my law degree, and then what? Am I actually going to go and be a lawyer? Like, no, I
mhm.
want to invest and do other things. Like, I actually don't want to be. I just wanted to be a lawyer to be a lawyer. Like, oh, I'm a lawyer.
Don't be a lawyer just to be a lawyer. Be a lawyer because you want to practice law.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you knew ahead of time that you wanted to be an investor, but you just didn't know how, and you just thought it was logically the right way. So walk me through the path. You got your license, then what? How long until you got your first deal done, not as an investor, but as an agent?
It took about 6 months. So it took me 6 months to get my first, and I was like, I was on some beans and rice diet. I was plasma. I was doing my plasma stuff. I had to ask my parents for help with my car payment. I was like, man, I'm struggling right now. But that first deal was a couple $1,000s, so
Mhm.
it worked out. It made up for it. And since then, like, it's been more consistent. But that's the hardest part, is getting your very first one. Some people, it takes them a year to get just that first one. So I was mentally prepared for it though. I had proper expectations.
What does that mean? What did you do to prepare?
Well, I think that most people go into it thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna make like a bunch of money my first week in real estate, my first month in real estate. I'm gonna do super well. Like, I'm gonna." That's why a lot of people get their license. And I think it's 85% of agents fail within the first year or quit, and the reason is because they go into it thinking that way, and I didn't. The guy I was working with always set proper expectations with me and said, "Hey, like, it may take you 6 months to a year to get one deal, and you need to be mentally prepared for that. And you also need to
And
like have,
financially.
yeah, financially prepared too." So I, well, that's why I was donating plasma and eating beans and rice. So
Mhm.
it worked out. It worked out. But most people quit after like a month or two because they don't get a single paycheck and they need to go do something about it. And I did too, but what I did was like DoorDash and other things, that side gigs.
So it was that persistence that got you through.
Yeah, like, I still had bills, I don't got a kids and a mortgage, but I had other bills that I needed to take care of, so I did need to make money, like, I couldn't just be at 0 for 6
Mhm.
months.
Yeah, I totally get that. All right, so then from your first deal as an agent, how long did it take you to get your first deal as an investor?
So, my flip, this was, like, I mean, this is so recent. This is last year. um, it took a couple years, it took, like, 2 years, and so this first one was a partnership with my dad, who's a licensed contractor. I saved up 40 grand. This is, like, the most money I've ever saved up in my life. It was all through the stock market. I invested in Tesla at a very good time, and it went to, like, I bought Tesla when it was, like, $200. I bought, like, 30
Wow.
shares, and then it went to 1,200, and I was like, "Boom, I'm
Yeah.
selling." And so I sold so I could go invest in real estate, and in this flip, I bought a plot of land for 30,000, and then I paid my dad 10,000 for the work because he's a contractor, he needs to get paid. So I paid him 10, the land was 30, and we built the house from the ground up. He let me manage the project basically with him
Mhm.
so I could gain experience. Um, Put it on the market. We built it for less than we sold it for. Sold it, and I got back 60 grand. So, well, I got back 65 grand, so I made 25 grand profit.
25 grand. And start to finish, how long did it take?
Man, don't even, it should have took it should have took like 4 or 5 months. That's what it would normally take. It took me 8, 9 months ish because of lumber. The Also, I was supposed to make a lot more money, but the lumber prices
Went up.
were out the roof. Yeah, yeah. So, like, a lot of things went wrong. It still worked out, but the timing was just absolutely ridiculous. Like, there was no electricians, everyone was booked up, like, nobody could get to the jobs on time, scheduling errors constantly. It was just a lot more difficult than I expected it to be, but it worked out though. Like, I still made
You
money on
still
it.
made money. Yeah. Even though all these other things went wrong, you still made money, which is the good part. Um, Seems like, there's a consequence to giving a lot of people money to stay home and do nothing, and then people not wanting to work. But, who am I to say? Um, so,
I hear you.
um, so what's next for you in investing world? First, we'll talk about that.
So right now I have about 50 grand that I can use on whatever I want. And so I'm already qualified to buy a property, just any property, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to purchase, because I know that there's the path of I could go and get a rental, and I've been looking at properties, putting in offers on some duplexes, um, but I'm trying to weigh the pros and cons of like, okay, is that really the best route, a long-term rental right now? I've already done a flip, so we've talked before about progressions. So from
Mhm.
rentals to burrs to Airbnbs, all that kind of stuff. I feel like a flip is a little bit more difficult than a rental. And so I feel like I can do a little bit more and push myself a little bit more and maybe do a burr or something else like that. So it's just what do you think I should do with 50 grand? Like what is
Yeah,
your
I was gonna say, do you want some coaching, live coaching right now?
go for
I'll
it.
give
Tell
it.
me.
Um, Sponsored by Bang.
Yeah. Please, please give me free product. I drink a bang every day.
Um, so you have 50 grand. I look, I know you as a person want to take on a lot more than you should take on. Okay. Let's put it that way. Like,
Yeah.
like we mentioned earlier, you're the agent, you getting your license, you invest in the stock market, you have, content you make online, you got a lot going on. And so for you to take on a burr might be too many steps ahead, even though I would argue that the flip that you did is more difficult than a regular flip. Or sorry, not as difficult as a regular flip. The reason why is because it's easier to price a new build
Yeah.
compared to fixing up your house, right? A new build is obviously going to be at the top of the market
Yeah.
no matter what you do. So you have less room for mistake. And so like, even though you did do a flip, you haven't done a traditional flip where you fixed up the house that was in bad shape and estimated how much it would be. And that would be something I would do instead. So either you're going to go into another flip or you're going to go to the rental route, and do a rental. And I would recommend you just do a house hack. This way you can get low money down payment in. Maybe if you can get in a 10K down, then you can walk away with, your 40K and use that for a flip. So at the same time, you can get a live-in, a house hack, save money on rent, and then flip. And then once you finish both of those, you come back with the cash from your flip and you have a rental, and then you bury your next property. That's how I would like you to go about. So first house hack, then flip while you're living in the house hack, then burr, and you will have all the experience you need to feel confident about the burr. And hopefully at that point, the market will be in a little bit better scenario so you can actually get more burrs done.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess what I was thinking is that I was considering my options, and 50 grand is a good chunk of money. It's a good chunk of money. I just in my area with my experience, I didn't see it being possible with just 50 grand to go and buy cash a flip and then renovate it too and then do
You
that.
could
Like
use a hard money loan.
and that's also something I've never done. And I know you've done it multiple times, so I know it can be done and it's not as scary. But it's just a whole new thing. Like
Exactly. But
so
that's what I'm saying. We need to reduce the amount of whole new things you're taking on here. If we reduce the amount of whole new things to, okay, if I'm house hacking, all I need to do is get a regular conventional or FHA, right? Which is not that complicated. A lot of people
yeah,
have done it, and
simple.
calculate the rental. Check. I've done that. All right. And on the other side, okay, I'm going to try a hard money loan on a regular flip and see how it goes. Check. You've done that. Okay. Now we combine the two together. That's a whole nother stage of development. When you combine two skills together, it's like the person, if you're playing basketball, right? And you know how to dribble, but you don't know how to shoot, right? You have to practice learning how to shoot, and then you can go from dribbling into shooting
Yeah.
in one
No, that makes sense.
fluid motion. But if you don't know how to do one at the same time, it's hard for you to do both and try to be able to do both at the same time.
Yeah. I just want to do both because I want to do both.
I
from the
know.
get-go
And
and
that's
figure
the
it
urge
out.
we need to get you to stop doing, is stop trying to do both. Just do
Jumping
one.
into things.
Did you read the book,
Yeah,
The One Thing, yet?
I did. I've read every book imaginable I have read on how to be productive and focused.
Okay, don't read it on 3,000 speed. Take a full month to read the book and take notes and break it down and ask yourself about how this applies to your situation, and see what a difference the book will do for you. Because I used to do what you used to do, which was like try to digest as much as possible. And if I read the book like 3 times faster, that's being more productive. It's the same. It's a waste of time for me to read it on 1 time speed.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. But that's how I used to feel. And I'm trying to tell you that it's not always the best path.
Okay, that makes sense.
All
Awesome.
right.
Yeah. Then I guess what I would do is I'm going to be, I guess I'll stick to what I'm doing, which is with my 50 grand, I'll go and buy it. It's honestly, it's going to take me less than 50 grand if I house hack it
I
to
know.
actually buy it. So I'll have money left over to do other
Exactly.
things.
That's what I'm saying. You house hack it. As soon as you get into the house, then you have the money. You can go look for a flip right away. And then at the end of this, you'll have a rental and you'll have a house, 2 houses you flipped under your belt, that then you can use this cash to then go do the burr. And then you got an ideal situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what I'm doing next then.
Yeah. But where are you going to house hack?
So I've been looking I'm looking in my area because I'm staying in my area. And I've looked, it's just about being patient, finding the right thing. I've been beat out on like 6 properties as well. So I've done over list. I've done $10,000 non-refundables. I just nothing has gotten accepted yet, but we're gonna make it happen. I'm hoping the market, well, actually, as an agent, the market is starting to level out a little bit. So I'm
Slow
seeing
down.
changes. Yeah, it's starting to slow down a little bit. So I'm seeing changes as an agent on the agent side, and I think that's gonna help.
I hope so. I hope so. And so long term, what do you want to be? Just an agent, or an agent and investor, or just an investor? What are you looking at?
I want to be an investor. I think my main goal is to become a full-time real estate investor. But I've gained a lot of connections being a real estate agent and a lot of knowledge and background in real estate being an agent. So it's not going to be anytime soon that I'm a full-time investor. I really enjoy being a real estate agent, but that's the goal, is like to own a bunch of property, cash flowing properties, do flips, do burrs. That's like the ultimate goal, and be a pilot. That's my number one right now too.
Fly to all your properties this way you can invest
Yeah.
out of country, out of state, out of
Out of
mind.
country. You're right. You're right. That's the next
I'll
plan.
just take my private jet over to my properties real quick.
Cancun Airbnbs.
Is that what you're planning on doing?
I mean, I'm sure they cash flow pretty well.
Probably. You're probably not wrong. Cancun, Tulum, all those areas. Okay. So if there's one piece of advice, well, let me ask you this. Would you recommend that an investor becomes someone who's already an investor, they become an agent? And if so, why?
If you're already an investor, then I feel like there's other ways to get involved and be active in real estate. I mean, for example, I go to a lot of conferences. I know a lot of I network with a lot of other investors. There's other ways that you can be involved in real estate other than being an agent. So I don't think you have to. I don't think it's like a necessity. I think it does help though that you would get first dibs on properties, because a lot of the times I see things before they even go on the market, like things that aren't even available yet that people want to sell.
Mhm.
And you can find your own off market deals yourself too. But we a lot of the time see things that people are planning on putting on market, and they're upcoming, and we can
Mhm.
buy them before anybody else. Also, as an agent, you naturally get to work with more investors, so it makes it a little bit easier to network with other investors that way, instead of having to go to like conferences and having to outwardly try to network. Like you just naturally meet people. And so I think that makes it a lot easier. But it just
Yeah.
depends. I feel like if you're not going to do all those other things to network and get yourself connected, because I feel like that's really important, to be surrounded by people who are doing what you're doing, and that'll make you way more successful. I know you're surrounded by people who are doing what you're doing, in real estate, in social media, and whatever you do, and it makes a gigantic difference. So it's like a yes and
Yeah,
a no.
before doing social media, like I don't think I had that many people that I was like friends with. I had to keep, you know, finding. Like it was hard to find people that were also investors to keep networking with. So without going to these events, I would don't think I would have ever had that. So I do agree with, you know, with your analysis on becoming an agent. I think is a nice icing on the cake, but not necessary for most people. We'll see if I ever finally pull it off. Jeez, it's been a long time since I started, and I have to keep paying to renew all this stuff too. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, you can also you can get the when you close, you can get the commissions back. Like you can do your own contracts as an agent. So you know how you use an agent for your stuff? You
Mhm.
can also that's also a benefit is that you save that money on yourself or you get it back because the listing agent, the listing side is the one who pays. So as a buyer, you still get your 3%.
Mhm. But I
And
just
that's
have to be
another
licensed in that state.
yeah, yeah, and that's another like 4 grand. Or do it in your state and then maybe like when you're buying properties that are in your state, then you can do that and you'll get like another 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 grand sometimes.
Mhm. All right. Well, this has been good. Everyone, check out Breyanna's channel. She does a lot more than just being a real estate agent, but that's all we had time to talk to about today. She makes cash flow in other ways that I'm jealous of, and I wish I had time and allocation to do. So check out her page. It's scientifically proven that, and as I mentioned in the previous video, that my net worth went up when I subscribed. So yours will too. And if I put a video on screen, just watch that too whenever that happens. All right. All
Right. I appreciate you having me.
right. Thanks, Breyanna. I'll catch you later.